So I just bought myself a pallet filled with bolts here, all different sizes. So the reason why everything is kind of a mess here right now is that I was searching for a specific bolt and it was, of course it was in the bottom there. So, but that doesn't matter because I gotta install shelving. So I got all shelving stuff here. I gotta build together and start filling all the different bolts and nuts. So this is a box filled with hose clamps. So we're gonna fill that also in the shelving there. Oh. That should be all. I think I'm just gonna put these on temporary to get the entire thing lifted into place, so then can see better the distance we should use. I'm gonna do that. These are going like that. I think I'm gonna install this here. This is a good spot for that. So I realized those black things here are end caps, supposed to be on the top. These are apparently the legs. Gonna need to change that. But so I'm thinking about 3 different ways to do this. We could have the shelving like that, with all the 4 legs onto the floor. Or we could cut the back legs here and shoot this entire thing in, getting contact with the wall and being able to screw this thing onto the wall. I mean, I don't know if you can see that. There are quite a big gap here. Or another thing to do this is that we just lift this thing up here. Oh, something losing up. It's falling apart. Or we do it like this. That will, well, it will help when cleaning underneath here. It will be much easier. It's always giving you the possibility to store stuff under here. Well, that's gonna interfere with the cleaning though. Then we got this shelving here. So this is getting installed onto this. So it's gonna install in the groove here. So by having it up like this, I could get this installed lower than it's actually meant for, meaning that I got much more storage out of this shelving, if that makes any sense. Everything is so crooked right now. So I'm kind of positive about this idea. There is a problem though. This with bolts is gonna weigh, it feels like at least 600 kilos. Filled with bolts and stuff. There's gonna be a lot of weight, but at the same time, this is gonna get screwed into the wall. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of weight. We could just weld an easy structure that I bolt into the concrete here to make it stand better. I really like the feeling of having it clean on the floor. Otherwise, when you wash stuff and so on, it's gonna be water sitting under here. It's just easy to sweep that out. I'm gonna go with this. If we'll see, we'll see if we change our mind, but I think we're gonna go with this. Yeah. I gotta put this shelving on top. So, yeah, I gotta have these on top so that I know so I can hammer these ready on. They're kind of balanced there, but we can use magnets. Should be easy when installing stuff. Holy. I think that will rest kind of perfect. It's kind of in line with this. Yeah, I could go even lower though. I think we gotta go with that. That there, then we need to have this more. Magnets works rather good. So these are meant to be dividers inside here. You could have small pockets or one big, one small there. Let's see how we do that later on. Now we're gonna see the spacing here between what's good spacing. So we have that there. How much higher should this be so it doesn't interfere with that? So in total we got 4 rows of this. So how do we do this? Yeah. Let's do a pile for every sort there is here. So we got some M16, M16, M16. I bought a lot of washers, different kind of washers. When building stuff, it's good to have all the washers you can think of. M12, M6. M5, M16. Then we got the hose clamps. And this is the quality hose clamps, not the stuff that breaks if you turn it a little bit too hard. There's a lot of big ones here. I'm not sure where I gotta store these. Maybe I need to build something where they can stand. Gonna leave that for now. So these trays are getting put together like this. It's just overlapping one another like that. So I'm gonna start with the M30 bolts and nuts here in the bottom. So let's see what I got here. So that smaller, and that is a little longer. So we got 3 different sizes here. Note there. So the problem now, when doing something like this, is that suddenly I'm on a project where I need bigger bolts than this. So I'm gonna buy bigger bolts than this. And then it's gonna be, where am I supposed to put them? Getting a new bolt size and kinda need to move everything, that's not going to happen once you install that. So this is kind of the thing. When starting with something like this, because I know I'm gonna buy more stuff, no question about that, but it might take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, so it's probably just gonna end up with one drawer with a little bit different sizes. So with that in mind, I'm gonna leave two boxes here for if I do need any more of this size here. These are always good to have. So a slight change here I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna fill that with bolts. I'm gonna leave that. I am gonna buy myself a hydraulic press, and why not keep all the hydraulic fittings in that shelving and focus building this with bolts instead. So let's put M20. So this was the only bolt I bought of M20, so I'm gonna order more. So I'm gonna buy onto there, so let's put that. So now we got 11 boxes with M10 bolts, so we're gonna fill a complete row with that. But one other thing, they're gonna do directional horizontal drilling outside here. So as it is right now in this garage, I just got temporary power until they get the real power installed, and they're about to drill under the creek there, so we can, why not go watch that? That's kind of interesting. I guess I can explain what they're actually doing here. So let's do a cross section of the creek. The ground is going like this, and then we got a creek, and then the ground is continue like that. So what they're doing is that they're standing here with their machine, and they're gonna, okay, this is not to scale, this drawing here, but what they gotta do is that gotta drill like that, and then they got to drill up here. So when they reach here, they're just going to connect the plastic hose onto this, and they're going to pull back the drill with the plastic hose. And that's how they're going to leave it. Then when the power company arrives, they're just going to, well, they're going to dig the cable onto here, and from there they're going to, well, shoot it through the plastic pipe and then keep on continue. The reason they're doing this is just so they don't disturb creeks and stuff like that. So, how does the steel know where to go? That's the question. The principle of this is actually fairly simple. They use a drill bit that looks like this. They got a little teeth there, maybe a little tooth there. Well, it doesn't really look like that, but just to get the picture here. And then they got the drilling rod connected like that, and then you just keep on connecting drilling rods. So the thing they do is that they can either push or rotate. So in front of this, in this, they got some kind of electric thing that sends information to the guy that works above here. You're gonna see that. And he also knows the orientation of this drill bit. When he now pushes this drill rod forward, this is gonna dive. And if you want to go up again, you're gonna turn this 180 degrees. Then it's gonna start raising again. And if you want to go forward, you're just gonna rotate and push at the same time. So you're gonna see sometimes they can't just push. It's kinda, you can see the drill rod would just wanna raise there. So what they do is they do a little jerks like this to keep going in the orientation they wanna go. The drill rod can bend, I think he said 10%. Okay, so they all packed up and gone. It's kind of cool actually see how clean the result is. Just going under the creek like that. So they also did this pipe under the road. I wasn't here when they did that. So that is going from there. There you can see it coming up there. So. So if you wonder about pricing, I think he said around 60 euros per meter, the drill. And then it's probably a lot of other costs just to get there and stuff like that, but 60 euros plus tax. Somewhere around there. It's not really that expensive. So it's a few days later now, and I did order a bunch of other stuff I gotta need for that shelving. One thing is more of these boxes. So these boxes I ordered a bunch of. I'm gonna keep all the smaller screws and maybe the washers in boxes like that. But let's put up the shelving. So I ordered more of that also. It's under here. So this is storage boxes. Thought I'm gonna use above the shelving there. And a marking machine. So I can mark all the boxes what kind of bolt size it is. So I was thinking about having these boxes like this. Well, that's kind of a good fit. What if we put next shelf just above there? Okay, so kind of a good. And then we just mark every box with what it is. And you can just pull it with you if you want. Yeah, so I also got this. So these are dividers. So you could divide these in 3 if you want to put 2 different bolt sizes. Oh, I'm missing one. I thought I ordered so it was exact, but apparently not. It's kind of flimsy when you just put it up like that. But if you put one up with weight straight, the other one is kind of gonna follow that. Okay, so this is a pegboard. So I got these accessories for that. A lot of different hooks. So my initial thought when buying this was that I'm gonna keep the hose clamps on this, since these hooks are kind of long. So we could make a, oh, there's a screw there. So we could make a storage for that. I also bought these. So these are just blanks. So you could weld something onto this if you want to hang them up with this whole distance. So it's easy to do something. I was thinking about making something to keep, some kind of pipe I could use for my threaded rods. So if we get this welded to some kind of pipe, we can hang this up and keep the threaded rods I got in that pipe. I got a lot of these. I'm not sure if that's gonna fit. It's not gonna fit if I also want to keep my hose clamps here, but we're gonna hang this up and we're gonna see what's gonna fit the best there. You even see me? Yeah, you can really see outside the fall is starting. All the yellow leaves on the birches. The cold is coming in, the winter is coming. Guess we can use this as a... so you actually see what's going on there. So these are the biggest hose clamps I got. I don't know, I don't have to have everything in the front or hanging here. Would be nice having everything here though. Nah, it's not gonna fit. It's just gonna look like a mess. I gotta keep. Well, I could keep them in the drawer there. I don't see me using a lot of these big ones though. It's gonna take some years using every one of those. But you never know. Suddenly you're gonna need them, and then we're gonna have them. Next size. It kind of feels like I'm starting my own supply store here. Not really gonna have much customers here in the forest. Yeah, I'm gonna go bankrupt in no time. I don't think I gotta fit all the threaded rods onto this. Yeah, I should have bought another one and have that below that. Then I could have made something with this. But let's not mind that. I also got these small drawers for that. So we could have this under here. And in these drawers, we could, so you could buy smaller hose clamps than this for fuel hose, for example. We could have those in the drawers below here. Is that a good idea? I need to order them though, but I got 4 of these boxes. So we can move down one step. Then we got these hooks also. Guess we're gonna figure something out we can use this for. Let's Ja, det går så långt.
Det funkar. Ja. Alltså utan vidare. Kommer den. Ja, den är bara bra till.
So I also got myself a labeling machine. So we can label everything. Is this... Okay, so I've been messing around a little bit with this. Let's see how big we should make them. So let's try this size just to print it out and see if it's a good size. So this is kind of a good size to put here for shelving. The problem is just that this thing is going in a little bit. So it's not sitting straight. It's like it's meant for a... Oh, that's kind of small. A little bit too small, but it fits here in the little groove. That it does. But I kind of, yeah, I like this more. I mean, I'm not getting younger. The older you get, the bigger text you want. So I realized I have a few of this. So this is like a plastic pocket you're gluing onto here. And then you can put this label inside here. Like so. So the thing with this is that this will future safe it a little bit. Gluing this onto the shelf directly, and then you're realizing you need to shift something or add something to this. It's gonna be a pain starting to change all of this. Now you just have to take them out of the plastic pocket and, well, take them with wherever you move that. I'm gonna start with this, with these drawers. Let's fill them first and then move on to the lower part. All right, so what's in the box? Let's open this and see. This has nothing to do with the shelving and stuff like that. This is something else. It's supposed to be a machine in this. Yeah, so this is a metal saw, a bandsaw. So this is the smaller bolts that's gonna get placed in these. This is 25 millimeters long. Print. M640. I forgot I bought these dividers here. Might as well use them, so we can get rid of these. I mean, these are so small, so. All right, so that is much better. So I do have some washers, from these small ones to this really big one. Kind of a size comparison here. I'm gonna keep the box. It's got all numbers if I need to order a new. Okay, that is meant for M5, and I could put in a divider also, so it doesn't move when we pull it out. Yeah, let's start with this. I only got one size for the M5 right now, so that is gonna be rather empty. I gotta put the rest in the boxes there. So this shelving is starting to get kind of heavy right now. So before putting any more of those boxes here, we're gonna do some kind of support for the front here. Would be kind of a shame if this collapsed. You can feel it's sitting there kind of steady. So we gotta build some kind of support down here. So I'm gonna need to cut this 45 degrees. We might as well just assemble that and use it. Guess this is going here. I don't know, I'm not gonna mount these things now. So the thing with this saw is that I gotta build my own table to this. Normally it's supposed to be delivered with a table. This was missing to this piece, but I don't need that since I'm gonna build my own table. So we're gonna do that someday after I've been to the steel store. I'm thinking I should have wheels on this so I can roll it around. Easy to move if needed. Okay, 45 degrees. So I'm thinking it's gonna go from the wall and then around there maybe. So I'm gonna make two holes in that. What if we make it one there, and one maybe there. Okay, so I got this hole all the way in. This on the other hand, I got that far. Well, it is enough. Well, this just has to be enough, because so I kind of struck rebar here, and that rebar isn't going like that. It's going straight onto the drill. When looking at that, I just hit the top of it. Start with this. Yeah, so I did a little miss in the planning here. I didn't think that this drawer is sticking down, so So yeah, that is kind of touch here. So we're missing a little piece, but that's no problem. When I finally got a proper saw, I just made a little lengthening piece here that should sit like that. So yeah, let's weld this together. You know something else I would like to have here? Well, I still can reach in the top shelf on the toe like that, but it would be nice having a step. I mean, there is kind of a big height difference here, so a step would actually be kind of nice. Let's do that. Let's put a step for that. So, two things before calling this done is that I'm gonna need to make something for the threaded rods to keep that at the side of this. Could weld something for that, and I need to weld a leg there. At first I thought I was gonna bolt the flat iron to the wall, kind of low there, 45-degree angle, coming up where all the legs are coming up to kind of hold this, so I don't have to have a leg there, but I don't have enough steel for doing so, and that little, yeah, and this thing was terrible to drill in the concrete there, so I just want to make one last hole, and that's gonna be there. So yeah, but let's make a leg for that and something to hold the threaded rods, and we can call this done. So by putting this in now, I'm gonna lock the entire construction. I'm not gonna be able to get this out anymore. I don't really see a reason to do that anymore. I'm gonna weld this when I got everything in here. Then I can adjust this to the exact height. So this is kind of the plan I came up with to keep the threaded rods in. So yeah, so this thing here, that's just to get a bottom piece. So I'm gonna use the rest of my steel pieces I got just to make a bottom in this. So well, so the threaded rods doesn't fall through. And yeah, I just gonna weld this together and we're gonna throw it there. I actually got enough room to fit everything in one. And we could use this for, yeah, I got copper pipe for the water and other long stuff we can fit here in a way to find a better home for that. All right. Yeah, some out of tape. Yeah, so this thing just ran out. I only bought one. The plan wasn't to use this big one. I was planning to use a little bit smaller, but this fitted so good, so I'll use that. So I can order more. So these are just rags, old clothes and stuff like that you can buy to use in the garage for cleaning up, like one-time uses. So I think we gotta call it done for this time. I gotta order some more tape for that machine, and yeah, all the bolts that still are missing, I gotta order those. Maybe some more of these. These were really nice, so I could keep going with those. I'm really happy with this. So at first I thought maybe I should paint this, but I don't know, I like the kind of raw steel look as it is. Yeah, so the reason for going with the narrow distance here with this tree last is just when you're standing here looking at the bolt, you can see what's in each drawer here. Sure, there's there's printed tape here that says exactly what's in the drawer, but it's not really the same thing. You kind of want to, when I build stuff, I like to just visually see and touch the thing I'm gonna use. Text doesn't always tell me that much. This is good when refilling if something's out and you don't remember what was in there, but yeah, so that's the reason for the distance, the difference in distance with the shelving area, so you can stand at this distance and see inside all of this at the same time. And with this thing, the reason for putting it kind of narrow, you just get your toe onto that, is that when you stand here, you won't go any further than this. So otherwise you would probably knock into that a few times. And that won't start to hurt. So you got enough here, you can just and see what's in the top shelf if you want to see that. Is there a question why I need this bolt? Is someone going to wonder that? Why would you wonder that? Who doesn't need bolts? Yeah. If there is a question why I need all these bolts, is that every time I needed a specific bolt, I've been gone searching for that bolt. If I start counting the hours for searching bolts, I think I'm gonna earn in all these bolts in saved time within a year. Maybe even 10 months. I mean, there's so much time going for searching bolts when you're building stuff. If I need a bolt, specific bolt, that's gonna require me going into town. And at the same time, that doesn't mean I'm gonna go back here again and continue with the project. So I'm gonna go to the store getting a bolt, and then I'm realizing, oh, I'm gonna do that instead, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do anything else and getting back to the project and get that done. Well, my goal is to have everything I can possibly need. Yeah, that's kind of a thing. So this bigger rod here, M34, that was used when building the crusher, that's why I got that. You might not use this very often, but I'm sure it's gonna get used anyway. So the power company is done here. So they did a really great job here getting this installed and hook up the power. So I'm now using the power hooked up from that line. This is my permanent power connection. So that is done. That feels really great. It's coming up there, goes into the cabinet and into the garage from that. So I just got the bill yesterday for that. So they charged me just over 6,000 euros to connect this. So yeah, but it's finally done, so that's good. So I gotta keep on working outside it now. So I gotta connect these gutters to these lines going out there, so I can get rid of all this standing water.